I said I wasn't going to do this video until I actually had the Shadow Me Deluxe edition posted to me, but that isn't going to happen, it looks like, considering I have to wait another week for it to come since it's releasing tomorrow. By the time this uploads, it's probably a couple days after, but thanks to the internet, we got to have this snippet for free online. So, also TikTok, by the way. I saw it this morning and I freaked out, like really freaked out. I read the first page, but then I was like, I should probably record myself reading the first 3 chapters. So I did, which I will include in this video, fast forward, because it took me a while to read it. I was really savoring it, you know? But now I'm going to talk about it more in detail. So I'm going to go over it chapter by chapter. If you've watched my previous video where I talked about the announcement of the spin-off, the Shadow Me spin-off, I talk about my theories on what to expect from it and just talking about it in general. Let me just get my list that I had from the first video. Okay, I only have 2 things on that list that I didn't mention in the first video, which is the first being, I wrote here just literally Rosabelle Assassin Robo J. What I think I meant by that was Rosabelle would be exactly the same in the way that Juliet became like a robot in that one scene in Imagine Me. The second thing that was on my list says Warner Kenji training James. I wanted to see Warner and Kenji train James, 21-year-old James, so I hope we get to see that in the book or in the series. Okay, let's just get on with the first chapter from the snippet. Let me just bring it up for a second. The first chapter, I'm going to try and be consistent with this. I might go off on a tangent. So anyway, the first chapter, which is Rosabelle's POV, we get her with Clara, which is her sister, and then we get a mention of Sebastian, and then we get a mention of, in the second chapter, we get Lieutenant Soldad. Okay, let's just go back a bit. Let's just breathe and go back to the first character, Clara. When I first read the first chapter, I felt like it was a bit like fan fiction. If anyone else felt that way about it, I felt the same way when I first read Restore Me back in the day. Felt new and kind of a little bit disconnected from the rest of the original series, but kind of makes sense for this because it's a spin-off. This felt a lot like Katniss from the Hunger Games. Anyone else felt that? Literally with her dad's like a jacket or something that she puts on. It was so Katnissy. And also Clara felt a lot like Primrose. And the whole Sebastian thing. Is that a love triangle? Who knows? Like, I'm all for love triangles, by the way. I know a lot of people hate it. Unpopular opinion. I think love triangles are great. It gives drama, which I kind of like. Anyway, so yeah, Sebastian. I'm curious about that. I'm curious about who he is, what's his background, if he's related or knows anybody from the original trilogy. I said trilogy, original series, because then we have the Lieutenant Soldad. As soon as I read that name, I immediately thought of Warner commanding like those 3 soldiers from the original first book, when Warner like commanded them to like touch Juliet. He was one of those soldiers. I don't know. I have to go back and read it, but I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. Isn't it not the same guy? I mean, I read it. I have to reread this snippet again. I like zoomed past it to get to the good bit, you know, to get to the mention of Warner and Juliet and Kenji. Let's move on to chapter 2, just so we get a lot of Soldad as a, you know, Soldad. Also get a mention of her father being a chief commander and regent of Sector 52. So in my reaction, I said that maybe Warner knows him. This is hard to like comprehend being 10 years later and you're like the ages of the different character. It's going to be really hard to try to keep track of, But yeah, so Ark Island as well is mentioned, like the life there. Again, I had a different expectation. There's also a lot of mention of birds. Birds, you know, the significance of birds in the whole Shatter Me series is. Oh yeah, and then her assassin, rosabelle's assassin work as well. Now moving on to chapter 3, the most important chapter in James's perspective. Okay, I gotta just calm down for a second. So it opens up with James being in prison, and he's not having it at all, like at all. He's so much like Kenji. It's actually ridiculous. I'd expect him to be at least a little bit, more sweeter and nicer. But he swears so much. Oh my gosh, he's not an innocent little boy anymore. He's so much more like Kenji. Probably because Kenji raised him. Okay, I have to mention this too. The whole 5-year-old Gigi, that little girl is Warner and Juliet's kid. I'm gonna freak out. But we have no confirmation about that at all from what I've read. Do you think it's Warnet's child? We will see. I will not be shocked. And also the gummy bears. I know Tahara said that we'll understand more why there was gummy bears in the deluxe edition of Watch Me. Oh yeah, and then the whole dynamic between Rosabelle and Kenji. I was gonna say Kenji. Rosabelle and James. Man, oh man, this is so enemies to lovers. I'm actually starting to not like enemies to lovers, but when it comes to Tahara, she does it so well. She does it so well. And also Rosabelle, we get to see her features being all like white hair, being a lot like a robot, as James describes her. And she's so like tiny, the same as Juliet. And her going on tiptoe and the whole knife to the throat thing, the whole trope. Can't wait for April 15th, 25th. April 15th, I'm guessing. But yeah, then he gets his throat slashed. We all know he's gonna survive that. He has healing powers, so I'm really curious about that. The whole dynamic between James being a healer and then Rosabelle being like an assassin trying to hurt him, and he just keeps coming back because he's good at healing himself, I'm guessing. With his training with Sonia and Sarah, gosh, I might talk about this more later on. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna make a review and a reading vlog for when it does come out in April 15th or 25. I don't know which one. I did want to add some theories, but I guess we'll see if I add it onto this video or not. I think I'm gonna cut it here. I really want to know what your thoughts about this is. It's so short and I'm really sad. I really hope the actual book is gonna be longer. Guess we'll see again. And yeah, thank you for watching. I will make that video reading vlog. Wait for it. And yeah, share your thoughts. I really want to know what you guys think about this snippet and your theories, and what, if you're excited, and what you think about James, and what do you think about Rosabelle and the whole Ark Island and Soledad and Sebastian and Clara. And yeah, I just want to hear it all. So leave your comments and we'll freak out about it together.